12 months, the success you've enjoyed here and so on, it's been pretty cool, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think obviously running the GT4 in the last 12 months has helped me get to where I am today. We've had a lot of success, so obviously the championship last year was pretty cool with the team. Obviously, first year, we only started about 12 months before that, so yeah, it was awesome to be able to bring that home from.
Has it made you rethink your pathway in some ways? When I first started dealing with you, there was a Trans Am element, and you've been part of the Shannons SpeedSeries for a little bit now, but the GT path, was that always part of the plan?
No, I think it was somewhat left field, come out of nowhere, to be honest. One of the team principal, Aaron Reed, used to run our Trans Am, so that sort of started the relationship there with Chaz, and it opened that pathway at the end of, I think it was 2023. So yeah, it was very left field. It definitely wasn't what we were planning for last year, especially, but yeah, definitely something I didn't regret.
He says when you put the helmet on, you're a totally different character. I think he almost used the word like you're a chihuahua. I think you're better than a chihuahua.
That's a bit rude.
but do you change? Do you change?
Yeah, I think obviously as anyone in the paddock would, you put on the helmet and you sort of have this alternate personality. You're out there to win and to do the best you very can. We're obviously all spending quite a lot of money to be here, so you've got to be able to change yourself a little bit, be happy and be a personality off the track and be a fighter out there.
In the last few weeks, you've been able to head over to Europe with McLaren and get to do something special. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, I think it was probably the best experience I've had so far. You go over there and you don't really know what to expect. Obviously, I haven't been overseas except for America last year, so it was a completely different ball game, different culture, but the team, like McLaren themselves, they put on an awesome couple of days for us drivers. Like, we didn't have to worry about anything. It was all there for us on the table. We just had to go there and drive. And
you got to drive the 720S. Was that right?
Yeah, I think.
How the hell was that?
It was an awesome experience. Obviously, yeah, can't really put into words how cool it was to drive. Obviously, the track as well, it's completely different to stuff over here. Can't really explain how different it is, but to be able to drive a GT3 car, especially a McLaren, was a dream come true.
So what does that mean now from a future standpoint? Are you thinking about, I'd love to maybe go and do that race, maybe a Le Mans or something? What has it opened your eyes to those sorts of things?
Yeah, most definitely. You definitely can't close that door into the future. It's such a big door to keep open and so much opportunity overseas. So there's obviously different races I want to do, especially Bathurst 12 hour in a GT3, that'd be pretty awesome. And to be able to get a McLaren over here to do that would probably be the best opportunity I have. But yeah, to go to America, do like Daytona, Europe in Le Mans and stuff like that would be awesome.
Okay, let's finish with the immediate focus being this year, right? What do you want to do to wrap up 2025? And what is life like away from the track for you to stitch all this together?
Yeah, obviously life away from the track has been quite busy. I work part-time at the moment and trying to find money to continue racing, especially for next year, and try and open some doors to hopefully get overseas or do something bigger in Australia. Yeah, it'd be cool to obviously bring the championship home this year, do a back-to-back for the team. We've got quite a lot of work to do this weekend to be able to do that, but I definitely think it's possible.
Look forward to seeing that Chihuahua in full action, mate. Good on you.
Thanks, Rusty.
Cheers.
Wonderful to hear from our pole sitter and one of the key title protagonists ahead of the Monochrome GT4 race that we are about to see here, GT4 Australia. Charlie Barlow, Cameron Vandendungen, pole position right behind us, and we'll grab them in a second for a quick chat. But Charlie, this is the battle. It's on the front row, and it's also for the title. Second in the title, first in the title, first on the grid, second on the grid. That is what we want to see.
You couldn't have set it up better, Cam, and we did allude to it a little bit earlier. You were surprised about the performance of the Mustang yesterday against Max Gagan as he charged through the field. But what is going to happen today, because it's slightly different conditions to what we saw yesterday?
Do you want to grab a couple of the boys? Well, we've got them floating past. Tom, come on over. Come on over. Hey, Matt, where are you? Come on over, boys. We've spoken to you a couple of times. Charlie, come on in. Oh. Look at this. We're on the front of a grid. It's a bit loose. We're all good. Pole position. You're second in the title. But look at that. No one in front of you on the run down to turn one. That's always the way you like it.
Yeah, I think obviously the best chance for Maxi to come out of turn one in the lead is probably today. So we'll see how it goes down into turn one if we can get off the line better than yesterday.
And Max, quite different conditions to what met us yesterday. Does that play any kind of role for you guys?
It's going to be hard to say, but I think these conditions will probably suit our car a little bit more at the end of the race. I think the Mustangs got helped a little bit with track temp yesterday afternoon, which helped us as well, but I think tyre deg is one part that really plays good for this car, so I think that's something we'll be looking for.
So we've been talking about it throughout the coverage today in other categories. The change of track conditions today. It was a lower ambient yesterday, that massive cool headwind. Your car maximised and came on so strong late in that race. Are you expecting a difference out of this car in the higher temp, higher UV? It is very different.
Yeah, I think obviously the hotter UV will probably play into our hands a little bit towards the end of the race, but again, it's a new day today. Every car could have been tuned up overnight, and we'll just have to see how it all plays out later.
And I'm going to jump on because Max and I were having a chat earlier. We was actually off camera while we were down just wandering around in pit lane. And you just said that the car wasn't good on the lower pressures, but as it came into its own temperature and pressure, the car was pretty much a jet. I guess, do you learn anything today? Is it that you're happier with the stronger car at the end, or do you need to attack early?
I think I'm just probably going to have the world's biggest headache and feel sick from all the weaving I'm going to do on the outlap. But yeah, it's just going to be trying to build as much temp to get going, really.
And let's talk about this grid walk, because it's obviously a big part of what we do, the fan activation here. It's really nice to see everyone just getting amongst GT4 and how popular it really is.
Yeah, it's cool to have the fans on the grid as well, and also the people that support us and help get us on track as well, and have them out here, because this is a very unique experience. So I think it's very good that the category does it, and just brings much more involvement with everyone.
It means you've got to practice your signature though, doesn't it, Cam? You do that a lot.
No, I do, but I'm only signing for myself. It's mainly checks for my kids, to be honest with you, which is Father's Day. Now, boys, thank you for giving us your time. You go and get ready. You've got a race to do. Thank you very much. Good luck to both of you. We've got a very busy man that signs a lot of real autographs, not like mine, and that's Greg Rust.
No, that's Tim Lay. He's a little bit further down the grid, Cam, than when we're ordinarily kind of used to seeing you. You just jumped out of the car as it pulled up to the grid here. Do you feel like you got something that'll be a good race car today?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've struggled all year with a bit of BOP, and it is a bit of BOP category. And sometimes you're on the good side of the ledger, sometimes you're on the bad side of the ledger. But we've spent a lot of the year on the bad side of the ledger. So hopefully a couple of small changes will get us going a bit better.
Okay, give us a sense, without giving sort of the trade secrets away, what are you wanting it to be better at?
Straight line speed, straight line handling.
How hampered do you feel in that regard, in a kilometre an hour sense?
Oh, well, we've been down about 8 Ks in a straight line the whole year, so it's very hard to race when you've got no straight line. So that's what we're hoping for, a bit more straight line. The thing handles pretty good, so we just need a bit more straight line so we can pass cars and not get hosed.
Enjoy the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cam?
I'll tell you one person who's not going to be complaining about straight line, and that's George Miedeke. He'll be starting in this incredible horse-powered Mustang. That is one of the key strengths of this car.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be the one complaining about the braking. So, no, look, we love the Mustang, and the great thing about GT4 is all the various skills and the strengths and weaknesses of the cars, and there's got to be some upside to lugging around 1,500 kilos worth of American muscle. So I'm looking forward to the race. I think, as I said to you yesterday, I didn't feel like I quite executed in qualifying, so the pace should be there or thereabouts. It's just obviously as the tyre wears on is where we're going to feel the heat.
Now, Roland, you'll be jumping in later in the stint, so George starts today. You get to bring it home. These conditions are quite different to yesterday, higher ambient, higher UV. You've driven this car enough now. What do you expect on these higher temperature days? I mean, it's not a high temperature day, but it's certainly higher than yesterday.
Hopefully I have some tyre left after George is finished. So, yeah, pretty high deg at this track with this car. But, yeah, we'll hopefully George can put it in a good spot and bring home a good result.
And it would be remiss of me at this point in the time not to talk about the title fight. I think it's 4 points, the gap between the pole sitter there behind you. Is that playing into your mind at all and your strategy today, George?
Oh, look, not really. It's about winning races, isn't it? With 4 points, it could go either way. So it's about who has the best result on every day, and we're bringing full focus to that. So I'll do my best off the start, see how we go, but certainly not hanging around and not wondering. We're not going to die wondering about this championship. We're going to give it a red-hot crack.
That was his way of saying, I'm not thinking about it. We're just going to go out and win this race and win this championship and get it all done. Is that about right?
That's the plan, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, George Miedeke. Charlie, I know you've got an accent, but you've got someone else who's got an accent with you.
Yes, I tried to seek out fellow people with different accents to everybody else around here. Jensen Altman, congratulations. Time for P4. That's a pretty good result.
Yeah, not too bad. Excited to be here. To me, I sound normal, so it's been fun coming and hearing all you guys talk and learning some slang. But no, it's been a great opportunity and experience joining the Wallace family. It's been a great time, great few days, ready to cap it off with a good result.
And Jack, yesterday we were just talking about before, you guys are learning this track together, and it was a great result for you guys just to bring it home and enjoy the experience. So talk us through your race yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday's start was a bit chaotic, but we were able to get some spots back, which was excellent. Gave it over to Jensen. He did an excellent job as predicted, so yeah.
And did you guys plan the whole J&J, Jensen and Jack? Was that a branding thing you guys planned?
No, but maybe we're going to have to work on that.
You'll
maybe some apparel or something. Yeah, some T-shirts or something for you guys.
All the best. Rusty?
Brock Feeney signing some autographs. So young fans, that is the great thing about GT racing. We have these grid walks that enable fans to get on. Hello, Summer Rinsel.
How are you?
What are we listening to?
We are listening to Obsessed by Mariah Carey.
Okay, right.
I didn't know I was listening to that because I've got no music going through my headphones.
Don't commentate. Don't commentate. Doesn't like to
He did a great job commentating yesterday.
Do you let him commentate?
Well, we kind of came in for an interview and Jared Hughes just sort of hijacked the microphone.
He tends to do that a little bit.
Hey, let's talk driving. Yesterday for both of you, I mean, really good hit out, and I know it didn't quite end where you hoped it would, but it was feisty, wasn't it?
It was a good race. I definitely missed a couple opportunities that I definitely should have taken. Bit of regret there, but we're starting from P3 today, and I'm really excited to make those improvements and just go for it.
Brock's been here for a little bit of a chat. He's just over our shoulder. Nice to have kind of that Triple Eight family around everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. It's really good guidance and just really good input from everyone.
Okay, now just ahead of you here is a McLaren in the hands of Tom Heyman, and I can see Max Gagan getting the earpieces in right now. He's come down and had a little word with you just a moment ago too, and kind of wished you well, yeah?
Yeah, we always wish each other good luck. Everyone does in the field. It's a really good community here.
Okay, have a fantastic afternoon.
Awesome, thanks.
Nice work yesterday. Summer Rinsel in that 87.
Good. We might have a quick chat
Charlie?
before we jump in the car. Is that okay?
Yeah, no stress.
I thought I would come down and see a pole sitter from yesterday. Marcus Liddell, that was a great result for you guys.
Yeah, look, it really is. It's been a good year. We're still getting a handle on the car, and after missing the first round, we were kind of a little bit behind the 8 ball, but Jared's doing a good job, and it's nice to get some blue sky weather here after the calamities of QR and Sandown, and it's this is a great place to race a car, and the Ford's good around here, so really enjoying it.
And let's talk about the slightly different conditions today that met us yesterday. Anything that you guys are factoring in?
Look, I think the UV probably won't help us from a tyre life standpoint, but at the end of the day, you know, as an AM, we're a fair way up the grid today, so hopefully we can sort of stay here and race amongst the faster guys and make the most of it and try and take home another trophy.
All the best. Let you get in the car.
Thanks so much.
I just thought I'd jump in with Ryan Hansford. We're just chatting about the weather, chatting about conditions, chatting about Brett Peters' glasses as well. I think we're having a chat about, mate. You seem nice and relaxed ahead of this race.
Yeah, mate, we were having a little chat about eyesight, weren't we?
Yeah, he's giving me grief because I wear glasses for a podium. Now, Ryan, we've got to focus on a race here, mate. There's a little bit of work to do, but I reckon you're going to have a good race today. Yeah,
Car feels good on that little outlap, and we're first in class where we're sitting here, so I'm just going to look after the tyres for Aaron. I'll probably come in pretty early because it's so hot and I get really sweaty, and I puff and I huff, and then we'll get little Aaron to jump in, and I reckon he'll give it a good run to the end.
On a hot day, it's always best to be the first driver, isn't it? Because you don't have to hop into that stinking hot cockpit. But that's probably the question for all of us. The heavier cars, the tyres, making them last on a day like today will be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, these Pirelli tyres are pretty good. They last a long time, but I suppose this track's one that I've only been to 3 in this car now, but I've experienced the most deg at this track with this tyre for rear drive. So.
And that triple right also must just put a bit of grief through the neck.
Puts a bit of grief through your tyres and your neck and your head and your back.
All right, Ryan.
It's got heaps more grip too than the Toronto drive, so it's just getting the most out of it. Still learning.
I'll be honest, I'm very jealous seeing you out here having a run around here. This track is fantastic. Good luck for the race. We're going to go over to Rusty.
Thanks, mate.
That multi-spares Mustang has been a great addition to what is already a bumper field in Monochrome GT4. If you weren't with us yesterday on the screens of 7 or watching the SRO Motorsport Group channels worldwide, you missed an epic race. Today, that finished in the twilight on Saturday. Today, we're in the nice warmth here at Tailem Bend on Sunday. Let's take you to your commentators. Enjoy it. It is going to be a beauty. Richard Crail alongside Thomas Randall.
Rusty, thank you. Great vibe here at the Bend in perfect conditions, touching 23 degrees, bright sunshine and only a light breeze, which is rare for this place as well. So picture perfect conditions for motor racing, and Monochrome GT4 Australia has been putting on a show. Yesterday's race was a blockbuster. It was won by Tom Heyman and Max Gagan in the McLaren. They led home Ryland Gray and George Medicki. Jared Hughes and Summer Rintoul in that Mercedes AMG were third. This is how it played out in the Maguire. Highlights Thomas Randall. It was wild from go to woe, and it started with a big lunge into turn one. Zach Suter got the elbows out, and the tough lift McLaren led early.
Yeah, well, just touching on that, the Heyman mobile, the McLaren went all the way back to 9th on the start, and the fact that they ended up winning the race was an impressive feat in itself. And this was a move, for me, move of the day, or one of. That was such a championship-defining moment, and really putting a stand on, hey, I'm here. If I can get round you like that, you know that we're here to fight for the championship. And this was Summer Rintoul really doing a valiant effort in her stint. And like she just spoke about before with Rusty, there was a few opportunities that she didn't quite capitalise on, but still a podium for them. And there was that move, the Lubrimax Mustang of Medicki, getting the job done for second place. But in the end of the day, literally the end of the day, it was the 25 machine of Maxi Gagan and Tom Heyman getting the win and closing that gap up in the championship fight. It is so close now between that McLaren and the boys in the Lubrimax Mustang, Medicki and Ryland Gray. And guess what? They're both starting off the front row for this one.
Yeah, it was a ripping race, and it came right down to the wire in a couple of different classes as well. So the story is that George Medicki and Ryland Gray have 162 points in the silver class to Tom Heyman and Max Gagan's 159 in the McLaren. 3 points the difference, and that's the difference between one spot on the racetrack. So it could very much be the story today. Whichever of those two cars gets to the checkered flag first, doesn't matter where they are, irrespective to their contenders, they could be leading the class going into the final round. Here is the Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. It's known as the Bend, just under 5Ks, 18 corners. All of them offer something a little bit different in terms of challenge, and yesterday we saw a brand new GT4 lap record set by Jared Hughes in that Mercedes at 1 minute 57.0001. So could they get into the 56s today in warmer conditions? The clock starts ticking, formation lap, and then a 2x2 rolling start. Mandatory pit stops in the middle. There's compensation time to serve for those that were on the podium in their classes yesterday. That means they'll have a longer pit stop today than some of their rivals. So quite often we see some mixed up and muddled up results relative to where we were yesterday. In the Silver Am class, Aaron Seaton and Jason Gomersall actually extended their championship lead to 15 points over Crick and Campbell. So that was a good day at the office. The Mustangs 1 and 2 there. So Ford Mustangs lead 2 of the 3 classes in GT4. Jacob Lawrence has a very handy lead. More than a race win's worth of points in the AM class at the back of the field. So, not necessarily at the back of the field, they've been running towards the front. In fact, their class pole sitter, Marcus Liddell, starts well inside the top 10 outright in this one. Speaking of, here's the grid. Silver Am pole for the multi-spares racing Ford Mustang. They had a ripper day yesterday and got their first win of the season. Kite and Liddell on pole in the Am Cup, and of course the McLaren, as we've heard from both Tommy Heyman and Maxi Gagan, on pole in Silver Cup.
And in that sense as well, all the drivers that will be starting this race finished last night's race as well. So a lot of recent experience for them. This is how it'll line up. We've got Medicki and Gray second on the grid. Then it's Jared Hughes and Summer Rintoul in that 888 Mercedes third. We've got Altsman in fourth, which we heard from before with Charlie Barlow. Jake Camilleri in fifth. Kite Liddell sixth outright. Then it's Bircher and Tim Lay. They finished up sixth in the end yesterday.
And what a drive it was from them. Charged up through the field. Timmy Lay at the end. Bumped into him at dinner last night, and he was all up and about how well that BMW went. Good qualifying performance for Chris Lillis and Nathan Callahan in that Porsche across from WA, run by Method Motorsport. They're in good shape. Silver Am class battle. Crick and Campbell in front of Seaton and Gomersall in this one. So little turn up for the books there. Fergus and Berryman a long way back down the field in this. They will be looking to make some moves. JP Drake had a wild spin in the Method Motorsport McLaren yesterday, but they go off 19th, and having led early, Glenn Nerwin will start the race today in the tough lift McLaren. Zach Suter to bring that car home. The AR19 Mercedes AMGs for the second time this weekend. This time they're line astern, all on the inside of the grid with Nikolovsky at the end. Lockie Dalton and Ben Newman go out of 26. Jamie Augustine and Pete Lawrence out of 28. Ryder Quinn was great yesterday. Tony Quinn and Chris White Jr. also had a really solid day in their game over car. They go out of 27th. And Jay Murray, the teenager in the Morris BMW, is driving solo today. He's been racing with his dad, Nathan. The team says Nate's got a few little back tweaks, so he's going to sit this one out. The youngster's going to get a full hour of running. As a result, their categorisation changes. So they've gone from being Silver Am, and he's now in the silver class. It's not about results for young Jay, high school student. He's just getting laps, getting some experience in the Morris car. I wonder, knowing Nathan, that the back's little tweak might have come when the Mighty Cats, that he's a long-time member and supporter and sponsor of as well, got up on Friday night in the footy. So here we go, rolling start. Beautiful conditions at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. It's McLaren, Ford, Mercedes AMG at the front, as it was yesterday. A slightly different order though, but the three cars at the pointy end have all got longer pit stops than those around. And the interesting one for me will be the American, the Ford Racing junior driver, Jensen Altzman, who starts from 4th position in the Ford Mustang. What can he do in the early stages of race 2? The penultimate round of Monochrome GT4 Australia. We are underway. 29 cars run the long run up towards turn 1. The grunt of the Ford Mustang, they're hunting in packs the blue oval. Look at them all at the front of the field, and sweeping around the outside is Marcus Liddell. Great start from him. Jake Camilleri in the Mobil 1 car away nicely too, and battle for the lead. Up the inside goes George Meineke on Tom Heyman. The grunt of the Mustang will drag it up the hill towards turn 4 and turn 5. Can the McLaren hold on? Heyman does. The Method Motorsport car clings onto the lead despite the Mustang pack chasing him down.
A much better start, and is that Camilleri going round at turn 6? Contact, no. Big crash. That's 2 of the Mustangs. I think that was Tim Lay got in there as well, and that's Smolin off in the background. Campbell as well. Wow, we've got a fair bit of damage here. One of the Mercedes, is that Griffith?
Bailey Love.
Bailey Love. It's gone round, and oh wow, that was just a moment for Camilleri, I think on his own, just looking about the 6th place car here, 3rd place car, sorry, gone round, and nothing that Tim Lay could have done. Campbell caught up in that as well. Was that Altzman got caught up too?
It was Altzman got drilled by Lay. They all just checked up, he had nowhere to go. So Camilleri on his own, crunch, there's the impact. The Central West Prestige BMW drilled the back of the Warren Mining Mustang.
And then Bailey Love had nowhere to go. A lot of damage on the front of the Mercedes and the right front. Here we go, another shot. So just gone in too hot there. Jake Camilleri lost the rear. Was there a little bit of contact there? Maybe with Liddell afterwards? I'm not sure if he had that. It looked like he had that moment first, and Liddell had nowhere to go, and then there was just carnage after that. And poor Tim Lay caught up in that. Innocent bystander. And something's happened here.
Safety car. BMW M safety car is out.
But Gagan is ahead on timing. Or was ahead on timing, so not sure there's been a positional change because Mediki's in front now, so we must have missed that.
Did that happen before or after the caution came out? So the BMW M safety car will pick up the field. Race control and timing will interrogate what happened there at the lead of the race. And we understand there was a lead change as that happened. So this was the battle as they went into turn 6. So it all teed off behind. So this is down 17, isn't it? But the question is, they were under safety car at that point. The safety car flags and boards were out.
So that you'll have to confirm whether or not Mediki's actually passed him under safety car there, and whether miscommunication. We couldn't really see if there were flags.
And they've swapped back. Yeah, okay, that's smart from George Meineke, and the team will have been on the radio.
You actually have to get approval from race control to let someone through. I've actually had this before in supercars where you can't actually pass someone on the safety car until you have approval. So whether or not that approval has been granted, but yeah, I mean, that all just kicked off. Look at the damage on the front. of that Ash Seawood Motorsport prepared BMW. Another replay here. So Camilleri's gone in hot, lost the rear end, so he's lost it on his own. No contact there between anyone else up until Tim Lay and Oldsman bystanders, and then it's just gone off in the background.
And Oldsman was checking up real hard because he could see Camilleri spinning across the racetrack, and he thought he was going to drill him as he spun back across towards the apex of turn 6. So that was the only thing he could do. Tim Lay, an innocent victim as well, the whole field checking up and got into the back of the Warren Mining Ford Mustang. It was such a shame. We heard from him and young Jack Wallace on the grid. Jack's a super young bloke. The Wallace family, Adam and Jed Wallace, have been racing for a long time. They were in supercars back in the day. They've raced in Bathurst and in the development series as well. It's cool to see them in GT4, South Australian family that have been heavily involved in the sport, and that's a massive shame for them. They were fired up about having the Ford Racing Junior over here as well. And there's championship implications as well, not just for Jake Camilleri, the Mobil 1 car, but also for the Central West Prestige BMW coming into the weekend. They were third in points.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting about that overtake that happened under safety cars, so we'll just keep an eye on that. But that's a couple of sad-looking Ford Mustangs, isn't it? 2 Ford Mustangs, Camilleri, Oldsman, Lay caught up in that, and Jake Camilleri was in such a great spot. And I was just going to make the point about Tom Heyman, who yesterday we saw, didn't get off to the best of start, dropped back all the way to 9th, and finally managed to hang on to the lead. So this is that replay. Do we see a flag in the background? Not quite sure, but there's definitely been an overtake there, and whether or not the safety car was called at that point, just have to wait and see. They're all slowing down. You can hear them all slowing down at that point. So, Rusty, what do you got for us?
Track down Cody Bircher, so I'm not sure if you have actually, I know the crew here have had a word with Tim. Is it one of those things where it's just sort of unavoidable?
Yeah, it looked like it to me from here. Like, I was watching up the top, and it sort of just looked like when the Mustang went around, he sort of had nowhere to go. So it's unfortunate. I think we had a pretty decent car to race with, but yeah, for now it looks like it was sort of an unavoidable incident. But yeah.
Has he said much in relation to the state of the damage, or you haven't heard that yet?
No, it looked like the bonnet come up when it all happened. So if that's happened, it doesn't look great. So anyway, hopefully, I mean, if he could have got it back, I'm sure he would have. So yeah, frustrating, but sometimes this happens, and we'll get it all sorted and come out swinging next time.
Hard luck for you on this Sunday here for the Shannons Speed Series, but you'll be back behind the wheel of a car with Ash Seawood Motorsport here at the Bend within days, won't you?
Yeah, we're back here next week in the TCR car, so that'll be super exciting. Can't wait to jump behind that. It's an awesome team at Ash Seawood Motorsport, so yeah, getting the grips with the front wheel drive will be something different, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Give you a nice Euro name, mate. Go well.
Right, cheers, Rusty.
Rusty knows all about European names. That's Cody Bircher. He's a super young talent out of Orange in the central west of New South Wales, as is his good mate and co-pilot Tim Lay. The messaging chat we have access to blowing up over various cars passing various other cars behind the safety car. So Race Control will be delving into all of these things while they've got this opportunity to do so behind the BMW M safety car, and the Ranger Raptor recovery team hard at work down here at turn 6 to rectify the stranded cars and a couple of Mustangs. That was the shot of the start of the field running up into turn 1 of about 6 Ford Mustangs 5 wide going up there into the start of the race. Cam?
I want to clarify that safety car board as to whether George Miedeke had passed it or was aware of it. So I went and had a chat to Andrew Miedeke on the wall. He said George wasn't sure, so out of safety they handed the position back. They were not told to by Race Control, but George wasn't sure where the board was and whether he'd passed him on the other side of the yellow flag. So just purely precautionary, and that tells you where their brains are at for this title.
Yeah, thanks, Cam. That's good intel. Look at the Mustangs. This is what we're talking about. 5 of them all locked together in this massive battle. And she was pretty willing on the exit of turn 2. And Heyman, you can hold on the outside of that corner. And then this is just another look of everyone taking evasive action. Gee, Jacob Lawrence was caught up on the inside there, and the Randall Racing BMW squeaked through.
So just looking at Bailey Love in the background. So he's gone around as well and got some damage. And it just caused a bit of chaos there at
turn 6, still under the control of the BMW M safety car. Rusty?
Our little garage where we have our Shannons SpeedSeries hosting desk has become a viewing area for lots of drivers when this happens. So they all came in to have a quick look at the monitor, including you, Aaron Seaton. What happens when you go back to the Gomersall crew? You're clearly worried about your car and if anything happens, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're very lucky there that Jake's got through cleanly. Obviously, putting my team hat on, it's up and down because Jake's one of our team cars, and it's a tough race for him. But hopefully he's okay and the car's okay. But as all we can do now is focus on our race and make sure that we get the best restart possible and see what the rest of the race brings.
How are you feeling yourself?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Car feels really good yesterday. Obviously, we had quite strong pace. So, yeah, looking forward to getting in for my stint and see what we can do.
And a huge week ahead for you too, mate. You must be really excited about being back at the Bend next week.
Absolutely. I can't wait to be back here for the Supercars Enduros. Obviously, thank you to MSR and the opportunity to jump in quickly in the wildcard. I'm really looking forward to it and looking forward to seeing throughout practice how we go, developing the car, everything like that, and competing against the show's best.
Thanks for chatting with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rusty, with Aaron Seaton. And don't forget, endurance season begins and you'll catch all of the great race on the screens of 7. Gagan, Miedeke and Liddell, the top 3 behind the safety car here at the Bend. So the clear up almost complete over at turn 6. We shouldn't be too far away from a resumption of play. The BMW M safety car leading the field and everyone taking stock. The other thing this is doing is eating into the driving time for the drivers behind the wheel now as we approach the mandatory pit stop. And the word from Motorsport Australia Race Control is that the incident at turn 6 on lap 1 will have no further action.
Which I think that's pretty self-explanatory and fair enough. It was just a racing incident. Camilleri just lost the rear in his own, and then it was just a case of avoiding action for everyone else, and really nothing Tim Lay could have done. Holtzman checked up to try and avoid Camilleri coming across the track, and Tim Lay had nowhere to go, so I think that's the right call there from Motorsport Australia Race Control. The other thing that we wanted to just clear up, a little bit of housekeeping, is that whole did he or did he not pass under safety car. That's been reviewed, and considering the drivers have self-corrected, there's no further action there as well.
Yeah, that's a fairly nice, pragmatic life decision from Race Control there. Just avoids any stress, any situation, and heads-up driving as well, as Cam touched on from the Miedeke team, to be ahead of the curve there and go, no, let him by. It's a long race. We've got time to play this one out. And losing one position is way better than a time penalty may have applied. The safety car is in this lap. And we'll get back underway and see how this plays out. And it just condenses the field as we race towards the pit stop. By this point, we'd have had 18 minutes of everyone settling down and spreading out in their own battle packs. This is going to turn the attitude up towards the pit stop window. Green flag this time by. We'll go back to racing. McLaren, Ford Mustang, Ford Mustang, Ford Mustang. Even with 2 of them out of the race, they're still stacked at the front of the field, the blue oval. And then one of the big winners from all of that, Thomas Randall, was Chris Lillis, who in the 777 Legrand Porsche ends up in 5th place on the road. And that is an outstanding job. 2nd in the AM class. So they're looking in pretty good shape too. Just behind them is the 888 Mercedes AMG with Summer Rintoul behind the wheel, so dropped a couple of spots through all of that. Jason Gomersall, Drew Price, Jacob Lawrence, Tim Berryman rounding out the top 10 in the Toyota Supra.
Now Maxi Gagan here on the restart absolutely needs to nail it and try and build up as big of a gap as he can before the pit stop window opens. These two, the safety car overtake, all that sort of stuff, that's been resolved. No further action, so it is play on from here on out.
Drew Price, it's Daniel Price behind the wheel of the Nippies Audi. I had go-karting on my mind. You can catch that on the screens of 7 this weekend too, by the way. Away we go. Back under green flag conditions after a turn 6 lap 1 accident. The sights and sounds of Monochrome GT4, and the battle is on for the lead. Hard defence from Max Gagan. Medica will sweep across and get a better exit there, and often you could squeeze it down the inside at turn 3, but the McLaren too good, and the GR Cup champion from last year holds his ground. Liddell next, then Hansford, then Lillis and Summerrintle, and Medici with all the torque and the bottom end grunt of the Mustang drags itself up the hill. Here's the braking zone. The McLaren's slightly better. And Max Gagan holding on from George. This is a good battle, and this is 1 and 2 in the Silver Cup Championship.
Yeah, that was a good opening lap there from Maxi Gagan, and I thought that George might have had a little look down the inside of turn 6, but Gagan was all over that, covered. And just in the background, it looked like Tim Berryman and Jacob Lawrence were going at it there at turn 6, so... Wow, I'll tell you what, Medici really applying the pressure, isn't he? There's not much margin between these two. You don't need to be told the gaps on the timing because you can clearly see it on your screens at home. And Medici with the fastest first sector on this lap. This is as far as we've gotten, really, in terms of green flag running. So it's Gagan, Medici, Liddell up in 3rd, Hansford, Lillis, and Liddell was really lucky to get away with that, wasn't he, on the opening lap at turn 6? Could have very easily been caught up in that accident.
It's got Jared Kite to jump into that car for the back half of the race. We've been talking about who's won out of that turn 6 drama. A couple of people we still need to put a full stop on, and one of them is Zoe Woods in the TechWorks Porsche, who scored in 24th position. So they're a long way down the leaderboard after a solid day yesterday. Championship contender as well. She and Nash Morris have been having a really good season, so need to get to the bottom of why that car's down the back as well. Zoe behind the wheel. So finally a full racing lap complete. Medici shows the nose to Gagan up at turn 1. It just gets enough extra straight line by the time they get to the brake pedal, and then the McLaren's just slightly better under brake, so it evens itself out. That's what makes this style of racing so great. Different strengths and weaknesses, the various cars, but the balance of performance that ties global GT racing together can allow a big Ford Mustang with a V8 engine hanging out over the front axle to compete with a mid-mounted turbo V6 McLaren supercar.
Yeah, and this is not only the battle for the race win here, this is the battle for to see who can take over the championship top spot. Still another round to go for these guys, but who will be leaving this afternoon in South Australia as the championship leaders, Crailsy? We've got another 38 minutes plus 1 lap and a mandatory pit stop to find out.
Well, if Max Gagan has his say, it'll be him because he's making sure that Mustang does not get past. We're just noting that the stewards are looking at a safety car procedure drama for the Rob Rubis Ginetta, and potentially there's been a drama there. Generally, when they note it, there's more of an issue. Rusty?
Works Motorsports, and Nash Morris has just put the helmet on, and I grabbed a word with him, Crailsy, as he was doing that, given the question mark you had over Zoe Woods. Now, I think there's been 2 either potential skirmishes that she's needed to avoid, which has seen her drop a couple of positions, but he said to me right at the end of the conversation, we also think there might be something, not sure what, that needs an alt control delete to kind of fix when they do the stop, so we'll keep an eye on that.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate the update there. Just putting a full stop on the 210 TechWorks Porsche. Change of position. Summerrintle up to 5th place now, gets past Chris Lillis. So the Mercedes AMG in front of the Porsche as they continue their march forward. Gagan and Medici 4/10 of a second, still locked together. Liddell pulling away from Ryan Hansford. I loved Ryan's comment on the grid, chatting to Cameron Vanderdungen, said, yeah, the Mustang's got a little bit more grip than the Tirana I usually drive. The Multi-Spares racing team operating in the Touring Car Masters, classic Aussie muscle cars and US muscle cars for those that might not have seen it before. It's great racing, but yeah, more grunt, way less grip than a Ford Mustang, and Ryan will be driving that car next weekend. This is a handy little battle. Lawrence putting the pressure on Price. Tim Berryman's in the mix as well.
Big move down the inside, that's Berryman. And that's...
and Jason Gomesel's on the outside, so he's dropped a couple of spots for all of this. 3 of them, in fact, and it could be 4. So we heard from Aaron Seaton before, who'll jump into the SS Signs car. Tim Berryman very, very wide on the exit, the run down the hill, and it opens him up. I think Berryman's got a drama in the Supra. That car is limping.
Yeah, what's happened here? Whether he's got a puncture or something?
They were 10th place on the restart. Could be. There was some debris on the racetrack, but it looks like it's a limping issue.
Or is it? I think it's still going not as slowly as it was, so it seems to have... Oh, no, he's still going quite slow. Is there some damage on the front right of that car? Not sure, but he's going very slowly. Just looking at that sector time, he's dropped about 6 seconds in the middle sector, and he's got some sort of issue on that car. The right front's definitely taken a hit, and whether or not something's bent on the right front there, we're just getting a replay now. So goes down the inside. Oh, big contact. Well, that might have done a toe link or something on the right front there, a track rod, and I'd say the steering wheel might not be quite as straight as it once was about 50 seconds ago. So that's a shame for those guys. They were running inside the top 9.
So yeah, they restarted 10th, I think. Yeah. They crossed the line 10th on the restart. So they're in pretty good shape. Down the inside goes Lawrence on Price in the Audi, which sweeps across the front. They're in different classes, but squabbling over a position inside the top 10. Ooh, the stewards have been aggressive. 30-second penalties coming to cars 29. That's Rob Rubis in the little Ginetta. And car 24, that's JP Drake, the South Australian who's making his Monochrome GT4 Australia debut in the second of the Method Motorsport McLaren. Safety car procedure breach, and off the road goes Berryman. So whatever the problem is, it's getting worse. He was staying out trying to make it to the mandatory pit stop window, but I wonder if they might have to take some service earlier.
Yeah, he's just dropping like a stone, isn't he? So
I say the steward's aggressive. Well, that's the penalty, isn't it? You pass under yellow, you're going to get a drive-through, and that is basically what they have been delivered. It's a 31-second transit time here. Drive-through penalty equivalent, 30 seconds. They'll have to serve that at their mandatory pit stop time. Rusty.
Just following on from that replay that you covered there a moment ago, I've had a word to Garth Walden about the Supra. Now the steering is bent, and his words are quite bad, but they're asking, you know, if we can limp on and deal with it until we get to the pit stop. So they're pressing on for now. No tyre pressure issues though.
I feel like the answer to that, maybe no.
Yeah, considering there's already been an off and the lap times dropped significantly though. Well, I hope they can stay out there. I mean, considering they're that far down now, it's probably not really going to matter whether they stay out. But you never know. This is motorsport. As we've said before, anything can happen.
Well, it usually does. It usually does. I'm just going to tick that off the cliche box.
You know who's going quick out there at the moment? Maxi Gagan, lighting up the timing charts. A 1:57.5 last time by. So the lap record, albeit in cooler conditions, was set yesterday by Jared Hughes, a 57.0. So they're about half a second off that. And that's pretty fast in these sort of conditions. The sun's out, it's not overcast, there are no clouds out there, so the track temperature's up. And he's got about a 1.2 second buffer back to Mediki, and if it stays like this, they will take over the lead in the Monochrome GT4 Australia series.
They do have a longer pit stop.
They do.
5 seconds longer than the Ford Mustang as a result of winning yesterday. You get 15 seconds added to your mandatory pit stop time. Now, the pit stop window opened as the 6th place car crossed the control line, and as it opened, a whole bunch of everyone else behind it dived into pit lane. It was timed to perfection. Among that was Price in the Audi. You just saw the SS Signs Gomersal Mustang in there, Campbell in there too. So the window opened right about now. Oh. So that was a very, very late call.
Now, normally when you cross that solid white line on pit entry, it's a big no-no in race control.
So like I said, the window opened almost at the exact point that car went hard left.
Yeah, you got to commit a lot earlier, and you're not allowed to cross the blend line on the exit when you leave pit lane. And generally, you're not allowed to cross that solid white line on pit entry as well. So we'll just wait and see what happens there. We've got to, yeah, not ideal. And they've just been noted, the same car for pit lane speed. And as you touched on, normally when race control notes something, especially like pit lane speed, That's not taken lightly either, so it could be potentially a double whammy for the Nippies Audi.
And I'm not a gambling man, Thomas, and I know you aren't either, but I'm going to suggest that it's probably paying $1.01 that was on pit entry. Correct. As well. You're not going to make much money gambling on where that pit lane speed happened. There's a damage for Bailey Love in the Love's car. That was part of that turn 6 drama at the start of the race. Ryan Hansford pits, Summer Rintle pits out of 6th position and 5th respectively, so they're in the lane. Jacob Lawrence, the AM Class Championship leader, in as well.
So a lot of flurry of pit lane activity now, as I think they've just called it a day for the Bailey Love Mercedes. That radiator on the front left getting plenty of cooling with no bodywork there. But yeah, Heyman out in front. Gagan out in front. We'll hand over to Heyman very shortly. I don't think they'd be too far away from pitting. And I'd say the lap they pit very well. You might see the car in behind pit as well as the team down at GWR just inspecting the right front damage. Rusty?
Just an interesting little sort of team battle happening here. So Method Motorsport, I don't think, just judging by the hand signals, were too happy with Tough Lift when they came in. So Zach Suter is getting behind the wheel of the Tough Lift entry. Glenn Nerwin is out, but it appears the front of their McLaren is just over the kind of ideal spot in the pit lane for them, and it meant that the 24 had to swing wide and around it and is now parked at an awkward angle before it starts its pit stop. They didn't seem too pleased.
No, and next to that, or just in front of it, Rusty, in fact, was Method Motorsport and JP Drake serving his 30-second penalty for the safety car breach. So they just sat there. I enjoy that they kept JP in the car, sit there, think about what you've done, and then jump out and do the driver change.
I was just thinking, I reckon they're going to wait. The 25 Method Motorsport McLaren will wait until the 24 Method Motorsport McLaren has served its pit stop, so then they have a clear pit box. There's no point making it even more awkward for the team, and I would say that's the reason why they've gone around again.
Yeah, pit opposite, you reckon, for sure.
Especially when you've pitted on quite an awkward angle.
Yes,
as well.
Exactly.
So a bit of damage actually on the right front. See that on the Audi as well. So
Jared Hughes has just popped out in front of Blake Purdy. That is for position. So they had an extra 5 seconds to serve in their pit stop, the JGI car. Oh, and off goes the Supra. They've just come out of the lane too. But you pointed out team boss Garth Walden was on the tools there in the race tape, patching up the front right corner of the number 9 car. Daniel Frugas now behind the wheel and trying to get that car right out of harm's way. I wonder if that's become more than just a steering issue.
Yeah, that looks pretty terminal, doesn't it? So,
gee, she's a long way off there. It's a big distance between the racetrack and the tyres, but a bit of yellow right now would be good news for some and horrific for others. So there'll be some teams in the lane praying that the safety car doesn't happen. Car 48, the Nippies Audi, by the way, will get a penalty for pit lane speed.
It says
48.
It says 48-second penalty, car 5. I'm wondering, car 5 is Jay Murray. So, yeah, it's a very interesting penalty. Bang on 48 seconds. Rusty?
Lots of characters in this pit lane, Thomas, as you know. You can follow Shake and Drake on Instagram. Check the race suit for a starter. JP, you have had a bit of a baptism of fire, or kind of lots of action in this, haven't you?
Oh my goodness. First sedan race, that was pretty hectic to say the least. The carnage on turn 6 was, I felt like I was needling through not a very big gap at all. Then I had a bit of a fight with one of the other McLarens, and then I unfortunately ran over Chaz on the pick because someone blocked me here.
Ran over Chaz as what, like his foot or something?
Yeah, fuck, I hope he's all right.
Apologies for the language there.
Apologies on there. But, yeah, I couldn't get into my pit lane, and then, yeah, he sort of gave me a few encouraging words about that.
Okay. Let's hope you get invited back.
Oh, yeah, I hope I get invited back, man. Thanks, it's been awesome. Great racing. I loved it. Thanks.
Then he might end up back behind the till at Drake's Supermarkets next week.
He might need to pay for the fine.
That's comedy, isn't it? We just need to put a little full stop on, we talked about a penalty, Thomas, and it was a 48-second penalty for car 5. It's actually a 5-second penalty for car 48. And I'd just like to point out that wasn't us being dyslexic, that was...
we both picked it up.
We did. But numbers are hard sometimes. I battle with them. Ryder Quinn is absolutely flying, having taken over the Black Diamond BMWs. In 13th place, he's just broken the lap record, 1:56.9, and this is the same thing that happened yesterday. He got into that car and it was an absolute rocket ship. So let's watch for Ryder to charge his way through the field. The leaders remain on the racetrack. We were concerned about the potential for a safety car that hasn't eventuated yet. The leaders still out, Rusty. Gagan in front of Medicki now, 3.4 seconds.
I am concerned that Zoe Woods won't invite me back for interviews in future. I want to talk positive stuff with you. Just clarify what happened in all the kind of, potential skirmishes and stuff.
Yeah, it was a bit hectic out there. Obviously, we went into turn 6 and there was a little bit of an accident, and then we came out of there pretty cleanly and just got pushed out wide, and then next minute I'm off in the dust, and yeah, unfortunately that's what it is. And I mean, that's what happens when you squeeze yourself between cars, so.
To compound it, was there a little warning alarm or something, and did you get to the bottom of it?
Yeah, so we had a little bit of a warning. It was a slow puncture in our left rear tyre, but it's all completely fine. I think just a little mishap mechanically, and that was all right.
Let's put the bend behind us. Let's enjoy New Zealand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Into the lane come the leaders. Thanks, Rusty. The Zoe show. Yeah, you don't go back and interview her anytime soon. I don't think. Bad luck for the TechWorks team. George Medicki and Ryland Gray to jump into the Lubramax Mustang. Max Gagan in. Tom Heyman to jump into the WM Waste McLaren down at Method Motorsport. Marcus Liddell has stayed out too, by the way. He's going to push this right to the very end of the pit stop window. He will need to pit this lap or he will be over the window and will get penalised. Ryder Quinn's just broken his own lap record. He's gone 4/10 quicker, by the way. A little sideshow going on there. He is flying.
So this is the battle for the lead. And the Lubramax Mustang has 5 seconds less time in the pit stop. So it's 15 seconds extra time for this car. The left of your screen, the Heyman Gagan Method Motorsport McLaren. And it seems like they're wanting something. It looked like George Medicki was just giving a signal to one of the crew members for something, but they're just having a little bit of a chat before Roland Gray heads out. And that car should get in front of the 25.
The on-track gap was 3.5 seconds at the last timing intermediate before they bailed into pit lane. Now, you'd imagine that Medicki would have grabbed a little bit of time on pit entry to take that margin out. So, in theory, it should be a couple of seconds between them when play resumes. Shane Smollen in as well. Second in the AM Class Championship in the Method Motorsport Porsche 718. Came at their heels. McGrath car just in front, champion of this category. Out goes the Mustang. So the door's still open on the Method Motorsport car. It's going to be reasonably close. There's only 5 seconds different in pit stop time. Oh, that's the Porsche in front. There is the McLaren. And there he goes. So he gets out in front. So all the handiwork that Max Gagan did on the in-lap and attacking pit lane has clearly worked. And he is going to be eventually the net race leader. Though charging past is Blake Purdy. And Blake Purdy is going to get track position. Now he's got a 5-second penalty hanging over his head in the Nippy's Audi for that drama getting into pit lane by his co-driver early on. But he's a net second in this. Jared Hughes third. And Ryland Gray finds himself a little bit further back behind this pack.
Yeah, I don't know whether something went wrong. Pit window's just been confirmed now closed.
So Liddell got in time.
But I just want to look at this first sector once it comes up, and whether or not that was a slow pit for the Method for the Medicki Mustang. So we're just having a look now on timing. So 2 minutes 52. That includes the time in the lane, so that's the first sector. So we're just going to have a look now. 2:54.8. So they should have been 5 seconds faster. We're just getting a replay of someone going round, and that is one of the Money Me Mercedes. Can't quite make out which one that is just yet with all the dirt and dust flying up.
So they lost 2 seconds, Tom, is what you're talking about. Ryland Gray. They were 2 seconds slower in pit lane when they should have been 3 seconds out of the direction, really. Or 7 seconds out of the direction. Should have been 5 seconds faster, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there, whether there's been some sort of confusion down there, but that's cost that they should have been right on the back, if not in front of that Heyman McLaren. So when this cleanses, we'll get a clear look at where this field sits. So Marcus Liddell remains the race leader. These are the next group of cars that should inherit the net race lead. So Jared Kite will jump behind the wheel of the number 21 Ford Mustang from 99 Motorsport.
as he completes his pit stop. The last one to do so in the race. And then the McLaren is going to be in a really good position to go back-to-back potentially and crucially take the championship lead. So there's the 99 Motorsport Mustang leaving the lane. This is the race order cleanse now on your screen. There's the Lubramax Mustang. So they're going to be in 6th position. And chasing them all down with a head of steam is Ryder Quinn as well.
That was exactly what I was just about to point out. Ryder Quinn, he's just broken the lap record again with a 56.4. No one is near that time. The next fastest lap time is a 57.3. So he's nearly a full second faster than the next quickest car, and that's just him in the left of your shot approaching turn 6. So we've got Mediki through turn 6 now. There it is. There's Ryder Quinn. So keep your eyes on the number 3 BMW, because that car has got electrifying pace out there at the moment.
So too does Blake Purdy. He's just set his personal best lap of the race in the Nippies Audi, run by Jam Motorsport, who are based about 600 metres behind the pit building that you and I are sitting in at the moment. They're as local as a race team can get. They've got a 5-second penalty hanging over their head for that pit stop infringement, or that pit entry infringement. He's 1.2 seconds behind Tom Heyman. 5 seconds now drops him outside the top 5. But if he can get to Heyman, maybe get in front, build a margin, potentially, he needs to do some damage limitation, try and get himself up the road if he can to minimise the damage that 5-second penalty is going to cause them. Jared Hughes next in the Mercedes. So McLaren, Audi, Mercedes, Ford in the top 4 different brands. Dean Campbell leads the way in the Silver Am class, and in fact that battle just going through shot, Black Mustang leading blue, is the battle for Silver Am. And it's a very fast Aaron Seaton chasing down to try and get the lead. Second in the class championship is first in the class championship is second in this little battle.
And the Nash Morris TechWorks Porsche, they've got their way back up to 12th, so they were well down the field in, I think they were below the top 20 at one point earlier in the race, and they're back up into position number 12. Just been noted, car 118, which is Dean Campbell, has been noted for a pit stop procedure. Someone's gone off here.
It's one of the leaders.
At the exit of turn 3. And we saw in the Radical Cup race yesterday, Terry Knowles having a moment off there as well. And there's the battle.
That was the leader.
Oh, it was too.
The leader off wide. Tom Heyman has surrendered the race lead, and through goes Blake Purdy, and now Jared Hughes with a head of steam in the Mercedes is charging up behind the McLaren. So the big puff of dust, it could only have been the leaders. There was no lap cars in front of them, and it was Tom Heyman. A tiny little error running wide at turn 5 has opened the opportunity for a new race leader in the form of Blake Purdy. That's exactly what the Nippies Audi needed.
Wow, just dropped it on his own. Exit of turn 3. Go, trying to get a shot for you here of what happened. And yeah, just dropped it. All 4 wheels off the track.
Oh, so it wasn't turn 5, it was before that. That's the exit of turn 3. And all the momentum he had disappeared, and Purdy jumped on that straight away. Blake needs to get his head down now and build up. Let's get some more on this. Here's Cameron.
So guys, I was actually down at the Mediki garage when you were talking about the gesture that George was. It was actually the pit lane timer wasn't working for him, so they had a hold up there, and George wasn't overly happy.
Yeah, thanks, Cam. That explains it. So that's little 1%ers like that is how you can lose a motor race. Now, the other big story that's just broken is there's a drive-through penalty coming the way of car 118. That's that black, yellow and orange Ford Mustang that is the current class leader in the Silver Am class. They are getting a drive-through penalty for a pit stop procedural breach. That is huge news. It is also essentially race ending for them. This is the team that sits second in the Silver Am Championship, and it gives Aaron Seaton a free kick now to build his championship lead.
And they were doing a ripper job, because that car qualified in 13th position. They're up to 4th on the road once all the pit stop cycles, or the pit stop sequence had cycled through. So, wow, that's really going to cost them a lot. So just getting, I think the timing might have just had a little bit of a moment here. So, yeah, let's wind the clock back a lap or two, Crailsy. That moment from Tom Heyman, how costly was that down at turn 3? And he's got Jared Hughes all over the back of him now, and Blake Purdy out in front. Can he somehow get a 5-second margin, or 5.001? That's all he needs to try and clinch a race win.
So just over 15 minutes remain in a gripping Monochrome GT4 Australia showdown here at the Bend. The Audi's in front, the McLaren second, the Mercedes AMG in third. But this result, by no mean thing, anywhere near being assured. And Blake Purdy has a penalty hanging over his head. And this is that battle pack, but Dean Campbell's got a drive-through penalty to serve.
Well, I think it's actually Crick's in the car now.
Well, yeah,
just looking at that helmet, it looked like the white helmet of Cam Crick, so I don't know whether the driver ID is updated, because Campbell would have started that race. It does look like it's Crick behind the wheel, so Crick's going to have to come in and serve. It feels like an eternity as a driver having to serve a drive-through penalty.
You'd almost rather the time added on afterwards, wouldn't you, rather than the drive-through? As Ryder Quinn cruises up to the back of this now, this is going to turn out to be a pass potentially for the Silver Am class win. And Ryder Quinn has been absolutely flying. He's going to look down the inside of Aaron Seaton here. It's not going to happen now, but at the pace that orange BMW's got right now, it feels almost inevitable.
Yeah, he's been just rapid this race, hasn't he? Like we said, the next fastest lap time that's been set by anyone is a 57.3. So much pace in this orange BMW.
This is the battle for the class victory in the Silver Am class, and Ryder Quinn, who has been best on ground today, is looking to get up the inside of Aaron Seaton at a place where you don't often see overtaking here at the Bend at turn 13. The Black Diamond BMW is flying today. He's obliterated the lap record. He has charged his way to the front of the class, and he has just passed Aaron Seaton for the lead. Cameron Crick is in front in the D.A. Campbell transport car. Still, we believe, with a drive-through penalty hanging over their head for a pit stop infringement breach, which would give car 3 the class lead. They have not had a win this season. That would be a very big story.
It would indeed, and there he goes, serves the pit stop. The drive-through penalty, hopefully put the indicator on there to let Ryder Quinn know.
Ryder was keeping it flat regardless, I think, based on the way he's driving today. Rusty?
So this is brutal. I'm with Dean Campbell as the car, I think, is coming through the lane. The crew are talking to Cam about this. Now, Dean, what have we got clarity now on what the actual penalty's for?
We believe we've gone across the line 0.7 of a second too soon.
But that's enough.
Well, at the end of the day, look, if you make a mistake, this is the penalty you pay, and it's cost us the race win and potentially the championship, to be honest. They're so tight, and yeah, you won't make that back now.
Feel for you. Thank you for talking.
0.7 of a second could potentially win or lose you a championship.
Yeah, well, that 0.7 of a second, unfortunately, has cost them next to 30 seconds, hasn't it? So just getting a replay now of something's happened at second last corner. A bit of biff and pard between the Bucky Motors Mercedes. I think the Mercedes has lost its badge there. Is that Lockie Dalton behind the wheel of that? And it is, he's in the lane because I reckon that's pushed onto the radiator and looks like it's potentially pouring out a bit of coolant there, Crazy.
The contact was with Jay Murray, driving solo today. He's 9th. He's doing an outstanding job. The young bloke, Nathan, stepped out of the car today. Jay Murray running well inside the top 10 in the Morris BMW. That is a huge performance. This is the battle for the lead. Blake Purdy's still got the 5-second penalty. Let's forget about that at the moment. Tom Heyman wants to. He just wants to get past and clear out. And Heyman's concern is that while he's bolted in behind the Audi R8, the V10 supercar from Germany in front, The bi-turbo 4-litre V8 big Mercedes AMG behind is ever closing, and Jared Hughes and Summer Rintoul are desperate to get their first race win of the season for AAA, and their moment is potentially here. The other joker in this could be Ryder Quinn, who is closing up to the back of them at a great rate of knots, and last time round, Thomas, was 9/10 of a second quicker than the race leader. He's getting them at a second a lap.
Yeah, well, he was 9/10 of a second quicker than Jared Hughes, but the last time by, Purdy did a 58.6 and Quinn did a 57.0, so he's cleared Seaton, Gray, Cameron, and he is on a charge. 10.5 minutes remaining in this one, plus a lap. It could be on for a race win potentially here for Ryder Quinn. Rusty.
I'm with Steve Jackett. She just looked at me like, no, please don't come and talk to me right now. Where's this pace come from? This is awesome.
Well, mate, we don't do any testing or anything. We just pretty much turn up to the track and drive. So a bit of time in the seat, that's the difference for us, mate. So here we are, and yeah, can't wait till the end result.
It's a cool little story, this combo, you two doing this together.
Yeah, it is, mate. It's really lovely, and today Father's Day as well, so can't be a better gift, I guess, than a podium. So
I'll stop talking. You can ride the last few laps.
Thanks, mate.
Steve is Ryder's stepdad, so that's a really nice touch down there at the TechWorks camp. So it hasn't been a good day for their Porsche team, but what a recovery this has been for the BMW side of the garage. Either way, they're in front in the class, but they would love to get that checkered flag first as well. And Ryder has cruised up to the back of this leading group, and he's not far away now.
Both the leaders dropping a wheel there off turn 16, so they're pushing hard, but no one's pushing as hard as Ryder Quinn. He's already made up over half a second on this lap. Charlie?
Guys, just jumped into the lane to speak with Lockie Dalton. We are looking at a very sad-looking Mercedes right now. Lockie, talk us through what happened.
Yeah, it was just, we've been struggling with this car all weekend. We're a long way off the pace, so we're just trying to get laps under our belt and tune it up where we can and avoid this sort of stuff. Just two cars in front. We're battling really hard, and I was just trying to give him space. And the car in front tried to check up to get an undercut and just hit the brakes in the middle of the corner. So it's the lightest of taps, but these cars are pretty fragile. They don't like rubbing. So yeah, just really unfortunate for Ben and I and the Buckbees crew. It's already been a very challenging weekend, so not ideal for us at all. Thanks for your update. Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie, with Lockie Dalton, who's another young driver in this field on the march from a career point of view, as Ryder Quinn has a big run through turn 5 and a big send at turn 6. He's third on the road now.
Nice move into turn 6. Late lunge, but I tell you what, got it stopped at the apex and no opportunity for Jared Hughes to perform a switchback. So he's up in the top 3 outright. As you touched on, Krales, he's already leading Silver Am. So as it stands, he's wrapped that up if nothing changes. But he's thinking, you know what, I want to win this outright. And I tell you what, Purdy's had a bad run off turn number 12. He's had to cover Heyman here into turn 13. Can Heyman go right round the outside? That would be something. And I think they're going to go side by side here, and that's going to give Heyman the inside for turn 14. Wow.
He wrestles the race lead away from the Audi. Penalty or not, the McLaren finds himself back in front, and now Ryder Quinn has caught up to the back of it. This is an astonishing drive from Ryder. He's driving the wheels off this BMW, and he's got the outright race lead inside. The 4 leading cars locked together, 7 minutes to go. Monochrome GT4 Australia is box office this year.
And Heyman's got to be careful here because he's got to be told, hey, our nearest championship rival is down in 6th position outright or 4th in class, so don't do anything that's too risky.
Here goes Ryder. Great run out of the final corner. Got the toe of the Audi, dragged alongside the Audi, and he's going to get past the Audi up here at turn 1. Ryder goes to 2nd. And to your point, they're technically in different races, the McLaren and the BMW. Either way, they finish like this, or even if they swap, they're still going to get a first place trophy and first place points. But it's that pride of getting the checkered flag first that they're both after here. So the question is, how hard does Tommy Heyman fight when Ryder inevitably comes at him?
So that car, the number 3 BMW, that started the race. Do you want to know where that started the race?
Tell me where he started the race.
24th position. So they've got moved up 20 3 positions as it stands, and can they get one more? 6.5 minutes remaining. I don't think Ryder Quinn's going to stop at finishing second outright. He's going to be putting the pressure on Heyman, and like you just said, Heyman doesn't really need to risk it because he's going to win the silver class anyway if it stays like it does. And there you go. There's the graphic. Look at the progress. We've got Quinn up 22 spots, 22 positions. White up 15. Jay Murray, he started last. He's up 20 positions. Seaton up 10. Hughes down 1. And then we've got Frugas, unfortunately, down all those positions with that contact. But look at this. Look at the battle for the outright win between Heyman and Ryder Quinn.
That's the team down at TechWorks Motorsport being stressed out about life at the moment because they are in a position to not just win their class but win the championship outright. And meanwhile, Jared Hughes has got Blake Purdy. So don't rule out the Mercedes AMG yet. On the podium yesterday, looking for that first outright race win and first win in their class as well. They've been so consistent, but just finding that breakthrough result has been a challenge so far for Jared Hughes and Summer Rintoul. Hughesy's still got a little bit of pain from that big crash he had at Queensland Raceway. Down the inside, this is for the race lead. Ryder Quinn to make it 23 positions gained. Gets past the McLaren. Steve Jacket cheers. He has charged his way to the front. The young bloke from Queensland driving the race of his life so far with under 5 minutes to go has taken the outright race lead.
And he's already putting a gap on Heyman. So this BMW is a rocket ship. Wow. That car, that combination with Ryder Quinn, I think he definitely drank some red cordial this morning because far out, he's got some blistering pace out there. And what was the word we used to describe his drive yesterday? Lit.
It was
I think
lit.
this is ultra lit.
What's the young people terminology for more than lit? So we'd have to ask Rusty.
I think so.
This is extraordinary stuff. I've seen a lot of riders racing over the years. He's always been very fast, but this is next level stuff. What an impressive drive. I'm just having a look down the leaderboard to find out where car 101 is, because Chris White Jr., the New Zealand GR86 Cup champion from New Zealand, is behind the wheel. But watching on from pit lane will be a bloke, as they go 3 wide there in the SS Science car, looking up the inside of the Nippies Audi. Watching from pit lane will be a bloke that Ryder calls Popeye, and that's Tony Quinn, his granddad. Pop watching on. So he shares the car with his stepdad, Steve Jackich, and his granddad's in the same race. What a way to celebrate Father's Day for Ryder Quinn. 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be something special, wouldn't it? So just wanted to note the 48 Nippies Audi has lost a bit of pace. And also, in saying that, the Seaton Mustang has just come alive here these last few minutes. So now he's looking at actually putting a move on the Audi. Not sure whether he can get it done into turn 1, but the Fords, the Mustangs just seem to drop off a little bit there towards the middle of the race, and they're starting to come alive again, albeit maybe a little bit too little too late. But Seaton now putting the pressure on Purdy, and this is going to hurt because they've already got that 5 seconds they've got to add. At the moment, that would drop them to about 7th position, so in behind Aaron Cameron. Rusty?
I've just come down to the Game Over crew and tried to find Tony Quinn for you. Do we extend Father's Day to Grandfather's Day? Now, Popeye, as Ryder calls him, is not here at the moment. He's out the back, I think, getting changed after his stint, but I have no doubt he'll be watching this unfold.
Thanks, Rusty. A little bit of damage to the back of the Tough Lift Audi. Zach Suter's climbed up to 11th place after what's been a really strong weekend for those guys. Well, the reason I called it an Audi, Tom, is because he races a TCR Audi and was testing it here the other day. It is, in fact, a McLaren. The Tough Lift team.
I'll let you off the hook.
Thank you. This is a BMW we're watching on screen.
An orange one.
It's one that's gone incredibly quickly today. 1.7 seconds. He's just backed the pace off enough to match what Tom Heyman's doing behind him. And he doesn't need to drive the wheels off it now because he's got track position. He knows he's got speed to burn. So BMW have 3 outright victories in GT4 Australia competition in terms of getting the checkered flag first. The emphasis is on the class battles, but as we've been talking about, everyone wants to win outright too. It doesn't come with any other awards or any other championship points, but pride on the line with 1 minute and 20, so should be 2 laps to go in this one. Quinn, Heyman, Hughes, the top 3. 5 different brands in the top 5, though that will change with Blake Purdy's penalty. He's still got Ryland Gray behind him, so Ryland and George Medicke, I should say, are going to end up 3rd in the silver class. So from a championship points loss point of view, they're going to lose the lead in the championship to the McLaren. That ebbing and flowing battle that's been there all season long will continue into the final round of the year. But damage limitation, I suppose, for Ryland Gray and George Medicke, and they will definitely have a big shot at the crown when we get to Hampton Downs in November.
It's going to come down to Hampton Downs, like you just touched on, and Heyman at the moment 2nd outright, or 2nd on the road, but 1st in silver class. As it stands, Ryland Gray will finish in front of Blake Purdy, so that would be 3rd in class. So yeah, that championship's going to swing in the favour of the 25 Method Motorsport McLaren, I should say. It was 3 points the gap between the Mustang and the McLaren going into this one. So that's going to swing in their favour. And 25 points for a race win, 18 for 2nd, 15 for 3rd. So that's 10-point swing.
And they were 3 behind coming into the race. So on some dodgy Arcrail maths, it should be 7 points going into the finale, potentially. Hey, another little full stop to put on a story as well as the battle for the AM class. And it's being led by Nathan Callaghan in the Porsche. He shares with Chris Lillis. They are yet to win a race in the AM class this year. So that could be an outstanding job for them to grab a first race win of the season. There it is. And that's the BMW behind it. Jacob Lawrence is only 5/10 behind. So this is the battle for the AM class race victory. He's going to have to survive a lap to bring this home.
So they're going to have this lap, this lap and another, and the gap is about half a second between the two. So this battle well and truly been brewing, and well and truly alive as well. And that's the Cameron Crick 118 in front, so they had that drive-through penalty that they've served, and he's actually come up nicely in the field, considering that's been a good recovery from Cam Crick, and we'll see him on the grid next week at the Supercars Enduro as a wild card with Seaton. So that's going to be exciting. Also, Lockie Dalton, he'll be teaming up with Ryland Gray as a wild card for Tickford Racing.
He's driving with Seaton. It didn't even dawn on me that that was happening when they were running nose to tail. There might be a conversation about that aggressive pit entry, perhaps. Anyway, last lap of the race. Battle for the AM class win remains on. Porsche versus BMW. Chris Lillis and Nathan Callaghan would love dearly to get their first race win of the season. Jacob Lawrence would love another one in what's been a successful year. But there's only so much you can say about what we've witnessed today. 23 positions gained. Steve Jackick and Ryder Quinn have executed to perfection, and Ryder, in one of the drive of his young career, to storm his way past some of the heavy hitters in Monochrome GT4 Australia. And not only will win the Silver AM class, but is going to win this thing outright as well, in a drive that we are going to remember for a very, very long time. Few corners to go. There's championship implications we're going to touch on later on. We'll get the full debrief, of course, as we count down towards the remainder of our program here at the Shannons Speed Series. But let's just sit back and marvel at one of the best drives of 2025 in any category. From way down the back of the field, Ryder Quinn has stormed from nowhere to execute an extraordinary victory at the bend. He takes out race 2 of Monochrome GT4 Australia on Father's Day. It's a family affair, and the Black Diamond car triumphs in an absolutely brilliant drive.
Yeah, Steve Jackick, look at him on the pit wall, just absolutely emphatic. You wouldn't have thought that about an hour ago when they started down in 24th position, and we thought that Ryder Quinn's drive yesterday was great. Well, he just took it up another notch, didn't he? He basically turned the difficulty onto easy today, didn't he? And just stormed his way. They both stormed their way from basically the rear of the field to the front and got the win by 2.3 seconds over Tom Heyman.
AM class battle to the line. First win of the season as well for Nathan Callaghan and Chris Lillis. The 777 Porsche claims the AM class. That's their first win of the season. and they've edged out Jacob Lawrence by 0.8 of a second. Paddy from TechWorks, Astrid in the back of shot, Marcus Amon, Porsche Carrera Cup racer is there too. Rob Woods will be back home on the Gold Coast. He can't travel at the moment, so he'll be enjoying all these emotions from home. And that is such a cool result. It's such a cool race. What a show. How's the team name? Thunder Buddies Racing. They get the win here at the Ben Motorsport Park. And new championship leaders in the silver class, Tom Heyman and Max Gagan, are back on top there. They wrestle the series lead away from Rylan Gray and George Miedeke. So that's massive. There's a 5-second penalty to be added to Blake Purdy, so they'll finish a little bit further down. They're going to be 7th in the end. Miedeke and Gray will be 6th. That penalty still to be applied by timing. Nathan Callahan and Chris Lewis win the AM class by 0.8 of a second over Jacob Lawrence, the championship leader, with Marcus Liddell and Jared Kite in 3rd. The Maguires race highlights. This could just be the entire race from the in-car of the number 3 BMW. Look how far back it is. Right at the very back of the field. Busy start to this one. The Mustangs were attacking. An unfortunate incident. Jake Camilleri spun on his own. There was nowhere to go for Cody Bircher with big damage to that car, and Jensen Altsman as well, the American making his debut in Australia. On the restart, the battle was on Mustang and McLaren, and then the pit stops happened. These guys stopped right at the opening of the pit stop window. It was a MasterCard to get Ryder Quinn in that car straight away.
Yeah, and then the 25 and the 35 both pitted together. Timing issue in the pit stop for the 35, so they weren't able to properly calculate how long they needed to be in the pit stop, so they lost about 7 seconds there. And then one of the big stories of the race was Heyman dropping it off of the turn 3 exit curb and lost the lead to Blake Purdy, who had that penalty overshadowing him for the last half of the race. And then, wow, Ryder Quinn putting some excellent moves on. First, Aaron Seaton, Rylan Gray, Jared Hughes, Blake Purdy, and then to finish it off, he thought, you know what, we haven't just already got the Silver Am class victory, why don't we just go for the outright honours? And took the spoils, did they, from 24th on the grid. Jakic and Ryder Quinn, what a drive from them in the black diamond orange BMW.
The Thunder Buddies have done it at the Bend. One of the drives of the season in any category in Australian motorsport, and they get the win and claim the Silver Am class as well. Tom Heyman will win the silver class with Max Gagan, and Am class to Nathan Callahan and Chris Lewis. Rusty, this is cool. These two are great characters. I'm looking forward to hearing what they've got to say.
He has got, as you know, a beautiful smile and a really nice nature, but today he's been an absolute terrier. Ryder Quinn, grab that helmet off. That was one of the drives. I think Richard Craill in commentary called it the drive of your career. Do you feel like that?
It definitely did. Yeah, even till the end, I was pushing as hard as I could. You know, I almost lost it a lot in that last stint. So, look, the car was a rocket ship. You know, all the boys are super fair driving, and yeah, I don't know if there was one exit where I wasn't in the grass or on the rocks, so it probably looked a bit messy, but I was just trying so hard.
How sketchy did it get? How close did it get to maybe slipping away?
Yeah, look, and around the back section at turn 8 and all that stuff, like you're just trying to hold it flat, and you're like, mate, this thing's not turning. It was amazing, and yeah, great job to Steve. He took it home in the first stint, and yeah, like this is we've led outright, but we've never brought it home to a P1, so I'm very happy.
Happy Father's Day. How good's that for
guys? No, that was awesome, mate. It was a great feeling, and great day, and great way to wrap up the weekend, guys. So
23 places.
Yes, not too bad, is it?
That's pretty damn.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Hey.
Congratulations to you both.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
There you go. Outright winners here, and obviously our silver Am winners as well. We go back to the silver class winners. We're going to sneak through here, boys. Enjoy the celebrations. We'll get to the podium in a moment. Here's Max Gagan, and he's in conversation with Tom Heyman, the pair of them kind of debriefing that. How do you, on balance, feel about that race and the weekend generally?
I don't know. That was good. I mean, we can't do too much more than 2 wins. Tommy did a great job then. Obviously played it very smart too. So, no, he did a great job, I reckon.
Nice. And the bigger picture, the bigger game is got to be in focus, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, obviously that brings the championship back into perspective going into the last round. So, Yeah, we'll see how we go, and we've obviously got good pace going into it.
You shaking a little bit there? Were you a bit nervous?
No, the rear tyre just wasn't up when I come out the pits. The first few laps was a bit sketchy, but no, ended up coming in and was fast at the end.
Congratulations to you both. Nice work, silver class winners.
Thank you, Rusty.
Great weekend for the pair of them and for Method Motorsport. Now, I want to get down to both Nathan Callahan and Chris Lillis, who I think are a little bit further down here. I can see our producer Chloe helping me. Hey, Chris, congratulations. That's mega. And you kind of had to work for it, you boys, didn't you? It was close at the end.
Yeah, it's been all year we've been that close, and finally to get one with my daughters here on Father's Day was just that little bit of icing on the cake. So well done, the young fella. Held him off at the end.
Tell us about that and what that last kind of couple of laps was like.
So I think if it was just us by ourselves, I felt comfortable holding off. But when you're letting the silver cars pass, you're bleeding time. So I could see Jacob coming, and I knew he wasn't going to give up. He got me in Queensland, 1 for 1, so I got him back this time. So I'm happy.
What does this mean for this crew to do it at this point in the championship too? That's pretty satisfying.
Oh, look, we would have been disappointed if we went a whole year without a win, and especially when we've been so close. I mean, Sandown to get a flat on the last lap was just, not gut-wrenching. So, but no, we're stoked. Looking forward to New Zealand.
There is one thing for you both to do, and that is to make your way to the podium and enjoy some champagne. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Rusty. The genuine emotion in this paddock. Some of these drivers in this field are young professionals coming up through the ranks, Tommy, but some of them are doing it for the love, the passion. Steve Jackick is one of those, Nathan Callahan and Chris Lillis, two others. It's so good to see the raw reactions from achieving some success. But talk about success today. Let's talk about what Ryder Quinn has put on. It was a clinic, and some of this overtaking, it was surgical.
And there was a lot of moves he would have done that we didn't get to see because he was just on a mission from 24th on the grid. Look at Jacket going wild back there in the pit lane. And so many awesome overtakes, all clean as well, kept the car on track. I mean, not a scratch on that BMW. Look at the celebrations from Ryder Quinn. Tony's down there in the background as well. And for their first outright win, what a way to do it. And I was just going to touch on your point there, Crailsy, of this platform GT4 allows this sort of racing to occur, and you get the choice of so many different brands, manufacturers to choose from, and it just goes to show, I mean, with 5 minutes to go, we've got a battle between 4 drivers for the outright race lead. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, double win for Method Motorsport, it must be said as well, helping out with that Porsche team as they do. The move on Jared Hughes at turn 6, I mean, he came from a long way back, but he carried so much car speed through 5 and sent it. And Hughesy knows where life's at, so he was like, you can have this, it's all yours, I don't need to get involved in this, you're not going to take championship points away from me.
But he still got it stopped at the apex, didn't run wide, because Hughesy would have been thinking, you know what, you've come from a long way back here, maybe I can do a bit of an over-under on the exit, but Ryder Quinn got that car stopped at the apex and got the drive out of there and got the move done. So you think all the things that have to go right to get a performance like that, it's not a case of just being out in front, leading, driving away. That car came from 24th position on the grid. We saw it in the race highlights, how far back it was well, it was in the background, not in the foreground of the shot. So, you know, and Heyman, apart from that mistake, you know, the car was out in front for most of the race. And then that pit stop issue with 35, you know, I'm looking forward to this podium, Crailsy.
It's going to be great. To take us through it, here's Cameron van der Dungen.
Welcome to the podium presentation for the race 2 of the 2025 Monochrome GT4 Australia Round 5 at GT Festival, The Bend. Presenting the trophies today, Marcel Bode, Commercial Manager, Motorsport Pacific for Pirelli. Please welcome the top 3 place cars for the silver class. In 3rd place for Purdy Racing, Blake Purdy and Daniel Price. In 2nd place for JGI 888 Racing, Jared Hughes and Summer Rintoul. In 1st place for Method Motorsport, Tom Heyman and Max Gagan. Ladies and gentlemen, your Monochrome GT4 Australia Silver Cup winners. Drivers, the podium's yours. And now we'll prepare. They're having a lot of fun up there on the podium. We've got 2 more to get through. So now please welcome the top 3 place cars for the Silver Am Cup. In 3rd place for Multi Spares Racing, Aaron Cameron and Ryan Hansford. In 2nd place for Gomersall Motorsport, Aaron Seaton and Jason Gomersall. In 1st place, and what an incredible drive, for Thunder Buddies Racing, TechWorks X, Ryder Quinn and Stephen Jackich. Ladies and gentlemen, your Monochrome GT4 Australia Silver Am Cup class winners. Drivers, the podium's yours. Congratulations. Finally, please welcome the winners for the Am Cup. In 3rd place for 99 Motorsport Hansa Equipment, Jared Keat and Marcus Liddell. In 2nd place for Randall Racing, Jacob Lawrence. And in 1st place for Method Motorsport, Nathan Callahan and Chris Lillis. Ladies and gentlemen, your Monochrome GT4 Australia Am Cup winners. Drivers, the podium's yours.